Der amerikanische Präsidentschaftswahlkampf ist Teil eines großen geschichtlichen Kapitels, das mit George Washington beginnt und uns bis zu Barack Obama führt. Dieses Jahr wählen wir am 6. November erneut einen Präsidenten. Aber der Weg ins Weiße Haus ist lang und gewunden. Ich würde mir jetzt gerne einen Moment Zeit nehmen, um mit Ihnen darüber zu sprechen, wie weit wir auf diesem Weg gekommen sind und was hinter der nächsten Biegung liegt. Übrigens veranstalten wir in der Botschaft, unseren 5 Generalkonsulaten und an den deutsch-amerikanischen Instituten in ganz Deutschland Diskussionsrunden und andere Programme für unsere deutschen Freunde zum Thema US-Wahlen. Earlier this year, America's main political parties completed their state-by-state primaries. On the Democratic side, the president was the overwhelming choice of his party for a second term. On the Republican side, there was a long and dramatic campaign. Even in a small state like New Hampshire, you might have found Mitt Romney having coffee with local voters at a Starbucks, while Michelle Bachmann spoke to a high school history class. Newt Gingrich greeted players at a local football game, and Ron Paul visited with a group of neighbors in somebody's living room. Volunteers were out ringing doorbells and calling voters to make a pitch for their preferred candidate. But you can only ring so many doorbells or sit in so many living rooms in a nation the size of the U.S. That's why broadcast and social media are essential in elections, and one reason our campaigns are so expensive. Along with the primary races, we also saw the main candidates on the Republican side square off in more than a dozen debates across the country. The debates had a bare-knuckle intensity that in some cases actually knocked candidates out of the race, live, on television, and in prime time. The next milestones on the road to the White House are the Democratic and Republican conventions. Republicans will meet in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida, in late August, while Democrats will get together in Charlotte, North Carolina, in early September. These conventions used to be real nail-biters, with deals bartered between the convention floor and the proverbial back rooms. These days, we usually know pretty well who the candidate will be before the convention begins. For the Democrats, the president will be renominated. On the Republican side, it will be interesting to watch Governor Mitt Romney secure the nomination and then see who he chooses as a running mate. And that running mate, I'm sure, will be known well before his convention even begins. Each party wants to present itself and its candidate in the best possible light. If things go well, each candidate will get a small boost in the opinion polls, the so-called convention bounce, that just might be enough to put them in the White House. But in order to win the presidency, a candidate must first win over the non-committed middle of the American electorate. After the conventions, the final and crucial stretch of the campaign begins. October will see 3 presidential debates during which President Obama and Governor Romney will face each other in front of the nation and the world and lay out their different visions for America and its future. The 2 competing vice presidential candidates, Vice President Biden and Governor Romney's selection, will also have one debate in October. So who will the next president of the United States be? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that all the rough and tumble of the election campaign, all the speech making, the political advertising, and razzmatazz, all these are a profound and fundamental part of who Americans are as a people. And this November, America will offer the world, as President Teddy Roosevelt once said, a, quote, wonderful example of democratic government on a giant scale. Wir wissen, dass die Welt auf uns schaut und ich würde gerne hören, was Sie darüber denken. Hinterlassen Sie einfach einen Kommentar auf meine Facebook-Seite. Suchen Sie einfach nach Botschafter Murphy. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.